Welcome to another episode of You Both Suck. I'm Kunal Aurora.
And I'm Dara Pollock. And today we have a very special guest with us, Max St. John. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yes, I know. We're so excited.
Yo, St. John, is this a real last name?
It is a real name.
It's legitimately your last name?
It's legitimately, yeah, it's always been a problem filling out like SAT forms.
Why?
Because even I don't know the proper way to spell it. Like, my birth certificate is different than my ID.
Oh.
Like,
Okay.
One has a period, one doesn't. So I don't even know what the
Period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought this was like a made-up name.
You thought why don't you tell him what you actually
Legitimately,
said?
right before you got in here, I go, St. John.
Yeah.
Max St. John. This sounds straight up like porn.
It sounds so much cooler, and then I walk in, and you're like, this dude is not fancy or cool at all.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, you might grow into your name, and I hope that's the case.
It hasn't happened yet.
I know, but I'm hoping for it to happen because
too.
you can't be walking around with as Max St.
It's
John and being this kind of nebbish.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tolerate that.
I am fully in agreement, and
Yes.
I'm working
Oh
on
my
it.
Yeah.
God,
And I hope
stop.
that's the case. No, this is a compliment. I'm saying that you can't have a name this powerful. It's like you can't be
You're
called
literally
Jack
telling
Lightning
him that he has a powerful name and he doesn't look it at all. This is
because
insulting.
he said he walked
yeah.
in. He just said, "Oh, well, when I walk
Oh,
in there."
God.
And that's you just said that, right?
Yeah, I'm all about truth here.
That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Like, it's a great
Fine.
name, and you're a good guy. I like the content you do, Dara.
Well,
which let's get into that.
I was just going to say before I got cut off.
Sorry, my apologies.
Max is a comedian, a content creator. You make hilarious videos on Instagram, and that's how I discovered you, actually. Just one of your many viral videos, and I started following you, and I think your stuff is hilarious. It's relatable, and honestly just very creative, and I am very curious how you actually stay consistent and come up with this stuff, because I do that myself sometimes with skits, and I find it's like so few and far between I have ideas, and you're just pumping this shit out. So I'm
Yes.
just like, how do you do this?
Oh, well, thank you. That's
Yeah.
very sweet, and I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm consistent. I think I was consistent for a long time, and now I'm starting to get, I don't know, I feel like I kind of hit like a roadblock, and now I'm trying to switch things up and do things that are more things that I like to do, and more goofy and weird, and
Right.
not, I felt like I was very repetitive for a while.
Interesting. How so?
There's a format that works, and you do the format and
Right.
fit jokes into that format, and that's fun and cool, and people like it.
Yep.
And you get into a routine, which is good.
Yeah.
But it felt maybe kind of boring and repetitive after a little while. So now I'm trying to switch things up and do more fun
Yeah.
stuff that I like, and people
That seems
don't
to be
love it as much.
Yeah.
Right, but that
Yeah.
seems to be the trend these days, that people are like, all right, I did it this way. It worked for a while,
You
but
get
now they're
bored.
people are seeking something that's a little more authentic. And
Yeah.
people are going to fall off from it.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, all right, well,
That's the problem,
Max's thing is not really it used to be X and now it's a lot of Y. But it's like, so now I'm wondering what the hell is this?
Yeah.
But I think that those that really like fuck with you will fuck with you.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think that's true of social media. Like, the loyal ones are going to stay loyal, but like there's a big chunk that when you change things up, there's always that like dip in engagement, dip in views, and you're just like, it makes you second guess, like, oh, am I actually like funny at this too? And it's like social media is just a whole other nightmare
Yeah.
that I could talk about forever. But yeah, if it's working for you and you're loving it, then I say go forth.
So then what are you kind of getting yourself into? Like, what are the different things that you're pursuing now that speak closer to who you are and what you're about?
Yeah, I feel like I still like doing stuff on Instagram.
Sure.
And there's a group, an audience that will see it and hopefully like it. But I find that I'm trying to go, I don't know, I always felt like there was a certain rule set, and it has to be a minute-long reel, and it has to be edited and worked out and in this format. And I have a format myself that works.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, if I think something is funny, whether it be, I don't know, a homemade meme on the spot, or I posted one yesterday where like New York just announced.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
Wait,
New York
the
just-
bathroom.
New York just
That's
announced,
funny.
or Google Maps announced that they're putting a filter
Yeah.
to show where all the public bathrooms in New York are,
Right.
Yeah.
which is great.
Sure.
So I was, as almost like a character, I posted about that. And I was like, I wish I knew about that 20 minutes ago, because I
Yeah.
had just peed my pants, and I was like pouring water in my pants in the park to make
Yeah.
it look like I peed my pants. And that is more kind of fun and chaotic and in the moment. So I'm trying to do more of that.
Right.
It's a very long-winded answer to.
No, but it's good because I was curious about that because I do think that a lot of your stuff looks like it was made very in the moment. So I'm always just
Thank
like, damn,
you.
yeah. No, it is a compliment.
Yeah.
All my
Your
stuff.
looks very spontaneous. Like, you didn't put a lot of time at all
Production
into
value
it.
is terrible. No, I'm kidding. It just seems like it's so relevant and timely. I'm
Like
always
you're on the
jealous of
ball.
it. Exactly.
There we
It
go.
is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
compliment.
you're on
I
the ball.
swear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my stuff is always like super thought out and just like trying to, and then by the time I get to it, usually the trend is past. So
Right,
I'm like, now I'm
yeah.
not going to post this. Never mind.
Yeah.
So I wish I had the ability to be faster with it. So it was a compliment.
I mean, that's a huge thing to be able to jump
Yeah.
on the ball that quickly
100%.
is solid.
100%.
You know, and there's also times like I put a clip out, a stand-up clip where I was talking about, the 6'5" trust fund blue eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like I think I put that out too early. Because now I feel like that was just when it was starting, and now it's gotten even bigger.
I actually thought you were in the middle of that one because by the time you got to it, I felt like I had heard a lot about it.
Yeah, but I think
already.
you're also early on the jump too about a lot of
maybe.
things. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think
maybe.
that's what it is.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But it's just like, so I think that to act on it, there's always like
Yeah.
this weird, it's almost like to jump on a trend is a weird window.
Yeah,
And
100%.
it's like you got to be able to hit it when that window is just like,
Yeah.
and just open enough to get that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
for you to be able to do that on a consistent basis is very difficult.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And I saw something on your page that I had to bring up because I was like, is this real or not? The bird watching stuff.
Yeah.
So you really do watch birds.
I really do watch birds.
Okay.
And it's, yeah, I feel like a lot of what I post is almost like half character.
Right.
or,
That's why I was like, I'm not sure if this is real or not.
A lot of
but
it is a massive exaggeration on who I am or what I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Or who I am in real life. But the bird watching is 100% real.
Okay. How did you
Interesting.
get into that?
Yeah, well, I tell people that I turned 30 and like something clicked,
Yeah.
which is like kind of a joke and a meme, but it is what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about like, I don't know, like 6 months, a year ago, I just got into it. My mom had always been into it, and I was home, and I started looking at birds, asking a couple questions. She would answer what they are, and I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
And what's that one?
That's-
Huh.
dope for like, okay, you're from Jersey, I get that, but like what's it like for a bird watcher to
In
be in
New
New York?
York.
Is it like
That's
that's
such
a
a-
pigeon, that's a sparrow, that's
a
a
good
sparrow,
question.
that's a pigeon?
Yeah, that's a
Like
good
what's
There's a lot of that. And,
Yeah.
And you just nailed the probably two most popular birds in New York.
I think that's the only two birds. If I'm
Yeah.
not, what other birds are in New York,
There's
dude?
a few.
There are a lot.
Okay.
Especially the migration period had just kind of ended around like
This is great.
Yeah. I'm
You're,
learning.
you're sounding like you're talking. I don't know if you're talking about birds or Floridians.
It's probably pretty equal, and some of these birds
Yeah.
are Floridians.
Yeah.
They come up from the south around like May to get to a more cool summer,
Yeah.
their summer spot, and then they go back south in the winter around like October, November.
Okay.
So in those periods, in late spring and then fall,
Yeah.
you have a bunch of birds passing through that aren't usually here.
So what's all right? So for like a common New York person that listens to our podcast,
Yeah.
which are only familiar with pigeons and sparrows,
Yeah, yeah.
what's another bird for us to look out for? What's a bird that you recommend? What's a bird you're giving the stamp of approval to?
Oh man, that's a great question. A lot of birds have all birds have my stamp of approval.
I love that.
But if even going to like Prospect Park or Greenwood Cemetery or
Sure.
McCarran Park, you'll see a lot if
Okay.
you hang out. Baltimore Orioles are around right now. They're very bright and very orange.
Okay.
They look like an
Interesting.
orange softball in a tree. And
Okay.
they're very loud and they're beautiful.
I mean, if you had a choice between spending time in Baltimore or here, I think the Orioles picked the proper place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The
like, what's it
Orioles-
selling
I was
crack
waiting.
down in Baltimore?
I was waiting for a Baltimore joke
Yeah.
or a baseball joke. It
Yes.
was one of the two. So
Sure,
yeah.
sure. But
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know baseball, but you know damn well I know Baltimore.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, that's
yeah.
okay. That's
Okay,
good. Like also
interesting.
falcons. I know there is falcons in New York. There's like a peregrine.
Yeah,
is that what it's
yeah.
called?
Oh,
Peregrine falcons.
Peregrine falcon. Yeah.
A lot of red-tailed hawks.
Yeah.
They're
Wow.
red-tailed
You ever
hawks.
watch those guys do some shit?
Yeah, there's a nest of red-tailed hawks in Prospect Park.
Okay.
and they're
Wow.
always flying around. It's
You ever see them catch something and rip it to
Ooh.
shreds?
That'd be fun.
not in person? But I'm hoping to see that.
Okay.
You know, I
'Cause-
leave my apartment thinking I want to
Aspirations.
see death today.
Right.
I want to
It'd
see.
be nice to see it not on the ground but from above.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit over.
I've seen like birds. I want to say it's seagulls probably when they snatch stuff out of the water. Fascinating to watch.
Can I tell you a
honestly.
story about a peregrine? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, however you want to say
Sure.
it.
Well,
I've never heard of this.
What
so
is it?
go
What's it
ahead.
called? How's it? What's it?
Peregrine.
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 So I know it was a peregrine because I know it didn't have a red tail. So I'm in a park in Queens, and I'm just like, it's we're just hanging out playing handball, and then this the peregrine falcon, right?
Yeah.
It shows up, and it's and everyone's like really impressed because it looks lovely. And then it just starts, but we couldn't see what was in its claws.
Okay.
And mind you, I'm at a park, and it's just like, it starts tearing this other bird into pieces.
Oh my God.
And throwing parts that it doesn't need onto the ground.
Yeah.
And this was like the middle of the day in the summer, and I'm watching children scream to no end. And I've never seen, like, we're talking girls shrieking in absolute horror as bloody
That sounds
parts
terrible.
of a bird are flung below.
That's metal. That's cool.
Wow, that's brutal.
That's so funny to me.
I guess I just feel like I don't expect that behavior from birds. You
Birds
just don't
are
think about
wild,
it.
right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
basically dinosaurs.
Yes.
In my non-biology professional opinion.
Do you watch that? Do you look at that Instagram page, Nature is Metal?
I have
Nature's
seen it.
Metal.
Yeah.
I don't know that
follow it.
one.
Where they show like nature doing some wild shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun for like the first 5 minutes, and then you
Yes.
see something you don't want to see, and you're like, this actually kind of messed me up.
Oh, yeah, I don't
100%.
want to see that then.
Yeah. I think I used to
It's like
follow it.
rotten.com, but like
Yes.
sort of, I don't want to see that.
Yes.
The first like 5 videos are like, yeah, there's like a lion killing something, and like that's kind of
Yeah.
hardcore, and then it gets
No.
really messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And you're like, I gotta go like for a walk.
Yeah. I gotta call my mother.
Yeah. I gotta call my
Oh,
mom
no.
back.
Yeah, there's like a limit to it. You don't want to, once you start to see like a snake take down something that you thought is cute, you're like, oh no, this is no fun.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't even
Okay.
like that scene in Road Trip when he feeds the little cute mouse to the snake. You know what I'm talking about? Tom
Yes.
Green.
Of course, yeah.
I haven't
yeah.
thought about Tom Green in a minute.
Oh, of
I
course.
just
I
had
don't
to
think
take a
anybody
second.
has. But so then, do
Anyway.
you have like binoculars? Do
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a very low barrier for entry. It's great. Like
Yeah.
all you need is a pair of binoculars, and
Right.
then there's an app that if you hear bird sound, Cornell, the school, developed this app that can recognize the bird sound and tell you what bird it is.
It's the Shazam for birds.
It's literally Shazam for
God.
birds.
Just gonna
Shazam
say.
for birds.
So if you have that and
can't.
binoculars, you
Yeah.
hear a bird making its call. You
Yeah.
can see what it
Holy
is, and then
shit.
you can kind of look for that bird.
That is
So
insane.
That is like anybody can do that.
that is
Wow,
so
that's
cool.
wild.
Yeah.
We were
I-
we were just talking about Shazam, so it's kind of funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
It's
literally
crazy
Shazam
that
for birds.
That's I was gonna
funny.
say because like all you need are just eyes,
yeah.
and that
Well,
sucks because
and binoculars, I would think.
Yeah, I
is
know, but
helpful.
like if you're blind, you're not burdened.
But like, do you take
Probably
notes?
not.
Like, do you take notes, or you're just looking? Like, I don't,
You can. There are no rules, which is super cool. You can do
Interesting.
whatever you want. I like if I'm going on a walk.
Yeah.
And this is like the mission statement of my unemployment. Like it's like Wednesday morning, just go for a 5-hour walk looking at birds.
Okay.
But I usually start like a little. There's an app that also tracks like your walk, and you can list all the birds you saw, and it has like it's hooked up to like GPS.
Dude, that's dope.
yeah.
That is
so-
kind of fun. And actually, you know what I like about this? It gives the walk a fucking purpose that doesn't cost you money.
Right.
I don't go for walks sometimes because I'm like, I know I'm going to spend money and I don't want to right now.
You know what's great?
You know what I mean?
Bird watching is like
Yeah.
it's like being into Pokemon but not being a loser.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's-
because these actually exist.
They exist.
Yeah, they're actually real.
It really is, and people have said it's like Pokemon for adults, and
Yeah.
that's a great way to look at
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I don't know. I might be coming around to bird watching.
I'm gonna be honest. When Dara told me that you were into this, I go, "Good God, Dara, what the hell?"
Yeah.
And I was
That's
like,
a fair.
I was judgmental about it, and I really had a lot of apprehension about it. And I go, "What are we doing here?" But I really like this. Sounds
Also,
really
this,
fun.
This sounds like something that you would do in a fucking heartbeat.
Well,
now that I'm hearing it,
Yeah, I mean,
you absolutely
because
would be all
he
about
sold
this.
it well.
I'm
He
just
sold
saying.
it well.
Yeah.
Before I didn't know, and now I'm like, this is actually.
I
You
didn't
walk
sell
around,
it.
you see some birds.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
sell it. I just
Yeah.
said he does bird watching.
Yeah, and I was
that-
like, this is
that
because
was
I know another comic who does bird watching, Joe Zimmerman, and he's a very funny dude. But it's just like I don't think he sold it to me enough. But I will
now-
say this though: when I did text him a picture of a bird that I saw, he responded back and he hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
He gave me the
Interesting.
bird name, and I was like, let me Google this because I don't want to see if he's full of shit.
Okay.
And he was dead on.
You'd be surprised how quickly, even just a couple trips, and they do all these free walks with people who really know what they're doing, and you
Okay.
learn through them.
Have you ever used bird watching to get laid?
I was just gonna ask this.
Oh, that's what we do.
It surprisingly doesn't work that well. I'm yet to find
Tell
the,
us more.
I'm yet to find the intersection of girls that like birds and like me.
Yeah.
So there's maybe a sliver in that Venn diagram that
Yeah.
I have yet to stumble upon. But We'll get there.
Yeah.
The next migration period, maybe.
Yeah, baby. The next migration period.
I think honestly, this is an awareness problem. I think that there are just not enough people who know enough about it
Yeah.
and know how, like maybe how fun it is. Because you made it sound really fun.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Max. You sold it to us, and I was
Yeah.
not ready to buy.
Same.
My wallet
Love
was
it.
in my pocket,
That was the
and I
easiest
go,
sale ever.
Yeah.
Well, you know, no.
And
To
it
be
was
honest,
free.
it wasn't because I was ready to just sit here and be like, "This guy's a fucking psycho."
Yeah, you
Watching.
can still think that.
Yeah, I can, but like watching birds, like you made it
Yeah.
seem like this is actually interesting. Like this is nice.
Exactly.
And to be honest, if I'm out there, if I was a lady, and I'm walking around a park with some dude, and he goes, "That right there is a starling," I'd be like, "That motherfucker knows some birds."
Yeah,
You know
I
what
think
mean?
it's impressive.
Yeah. If
Okay.
he knows some birds, he might know something about cats. Because I'm gonna throw him this puss.
Oh, Jesus
Okay, I'm sorry.
Christ.
That was a stretch. All right, that one was a leap, but all right.
Well,
Anyway.
I will take you all bird watching if you want to go.
Oh my God,
Feel free.
yay.
If you
That
want-
would be
ever wanna go to
kind
the
of
park,
dope.
That would be very fun.
Usually can hit around like 30 species of birds.
Wow.
Really?
A 3 to 4 hour walk. Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, in New York, I definitely would not have thought that. So
All right,
was
I
with
mean,
you on
let's be a little more reasonable with our time. What about a 45-minute walk?
45-minute walk. You can still
Yeah,
park.
I can't even walk for that. I was like,
That's fair.
My man just threw out a 3-4 hour hang. I go,
I
bro,
thought,
you need
I
to
thought
chill.
I had the sale and I went too hard.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
you know what? Actually, I got to talk to my wife.
yeah, dude, seriously. I was like, this guy needs to
I
relax.
got too hyped.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you sold me the car. I'm not about to buy two.
Yeah. And then you pulled back completely. So
Yeah.
I,
No. So
Back to the
So tell
drawing
me,
board.
in a 30 to 45-minute walk, let's say a post lunch.
Yeah.
Well, how many birds we gonna see?
Depending on the area, like if we go into this kind of the center of Prospect Park,
Yeah.
hit 15 pretty quickly.
That's enough birds.
That's a lot of birds. That's enough for
Dude,
one
once
day.
we get to
100%,
5,
yeah.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
How many birds can we see in 5?
We gotta
Can we
ease
see,
in.
If I want to see 5 birds, how
Mm-hmm.
long of a walk would that take?
Honestly, I think you could do that just walking over to McCarran Park.
That's so cool. Because you're not
Okay.
ever looking for them. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
totally.
Like that's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
thing.
And I don't mean to like when I say, "Oh, if you look up, you'll notice," which
Right.
sounds super condescending and douchey,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's true. Like for the longest time, I just never looked
Yeah.
up and thought about it.
Beautiful.
I did not care.
Okay.
But if you're looking up, you'll see a lot of different species coming.
I love that.
Interesting.
I love
Okay.
that a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
It's just like a back thought in life now. So at any given time, no matter what I'm doing, I'm like, oh, I wonder what that is, and it's a nice distraction to
To life.
the rest.
Yes, to life. Well, speaking of distractions for life, we were talking about this the other day, and we're
Okay.
curious if I feel like everyone has in their mind like a revenge fantasy or like a non-sexual fantasy that you live out, whether it's like a quitting your job fantasy, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, do you have anything like that you will like create a narrative in your mind and just for fun daydream
Like
about
an
it?
entire story may develop
Yeah.
of this sort. It doesn't have to be revenge. It could be
could be anything, but-
Anything you can. We just wanted to give examples, but does
Yeah.
that? I mean, I feel like that happens with a
Because
lot
I think
of
that
people.
happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one of those or no?
Yeah, I do. Let's see.
Anyone
does
you
it have
gotta
to be
share?
revenge?
No,
Or-
no,
Doesn't
no,
have to be
anything,
revenge.
anything you want.
I was saying that I had like I mean, I guess technically running into an ex is a revenge fantasy,
Yeah,
I guess, right?
okay.
So like things like that.
I once did a 10K,
Nice.
and I was running with this woman. Like she was on. We were running on pace. This Asian woman. I barely even saw what she looked like, but I just had this entire fantasy where we start talking.
Nice.
And then we start dating. I'm in a relationship. There's no reason for this to happen. And we start.
We'll cut that.
Yeah, no, we'll keep that in. So she knows. And she steps her game up. No, okay.
This is a threat.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
me and this woman, we get married. We have kids, and the entire run.
None of mine exists like this, which is so
the
funny.
entire run is our lives together, all because of this 10K.
Yeah, see,
And-
that's crazy.
And then at some point in the race, I just lose pace with her, and I never see her again.
Which is a metaphor in and
Yeah.
of itself.
Yeah,
Right,
because that
yeah.
life is all fleeting.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
mine are never centered around like lovey-dovey. It's always like revenge.
Revenge and hate, Jesus. I mean, part of the Sith much.
I don't know, just saying. But
What
that's
about you?
yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah, let's see. Something that I think about nearly daily. I'm a big listen to music
Yeah.
on any sort of commute type
Same.
person.
Sure.
And it's always like high energy, hardcore, like screamo, post hardcore, like all that
Okay.
stuff.
All right,
Interesting.
dude.
I did not.
I'm in it.
I didn't get that vibe from you, but that's
Between
funny.
like 3 coffees and that, at all times, I'm like on edge.
Yeah.
But
You're screaming
Yeah.
infidelities.
it's all chaos up here. But with that music, all I do is I picture myself like being a guitar frontman. On
Yeah.
I
stage.
do that. Yes.
Like
Yes.
just like absolutely ripping guitar. Don't play guitar. Never
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
And I guess
Jukebox Hero by Foreigner. You know,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
The very next day, bought a beat up 6-string.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Where he talks about becoming a rock star because he just went to one concert.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
Yeah,
that's a
so
very
I-
specific thing, but never mind.
I imagine just ripping
Yeah.
guitar,
Okay.
and whether it be someone I'm dating or an ex in the crowd, like, oh,
Yes.
he was cool.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
shouldn't have done that.
Are
thing.
you?
I
Are you?
have
He
that
was a
same
skater
fantasy.
boy.
No, I
He
have that
said,
same
"See you
fantasy.
later, boy."
But not playing guitar. I have
Yeah.
that same fantasy,
Drums?
but being the singer, like
Sure.
the lead
Okay.
singer of a band, and it's
Yeah.
always like a classic rock band because classic rock is my favorite.
Sure.
So yes, that's one that I have that just isn't based around.
Do you even
revenge.
sing?
That's funny. You know, I can. I told you I could sing, but I won't sing for you, and you get annoyed about it.
Oh well, that seems. Yeah, that's why I'll keep
Yes,
asking.
whenever I go
That's
to
why I'll keep asking.
whenever I go to karaoke, everyone's like, "Oh, you can actually sing," and I'm like, "Yeah, I sing fine. I'm not like amazing, but I'm a decent singer."
Okay.
I wanted to be on Broadway, bitch.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought it was
Yeah,
just the dancing. I didn't know that you were a triple
I was
threat.
a triple
My
threat.
apologies.
Excuse
okay.
me. Thank you.
So your thought of revenge is pretty close to becoming a possibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
exactly.
you can do it at karaoke.
Yes. Totally right there.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
We could start
That's
a band with our
funny.
fantasies.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
That's
want
a good one.
but you don't play guitar at all. None of that kind of stuff.
Nope.
So
Are you
interesting.
singing in this too, or no?
Could be.
Okay.
Maybe some
Interesting.
backup vocals.
With a couple of backup vocals.
But it's
Okay.
such a good detail.
I know it. Even in my fantasy, like I know my limits.
You temper the fantasy down
Yeah.
a little bit. It's like I want to be a rock star, but just in the back.
Yeah, because I don't want to take myself out of it. I gotta,
Yeah, yeah.
it's gotta be
that's-
realistic.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always has to have some thread of reality.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's what keeps it real.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I want to know what other people in the listeners, if you
Yes.
have any fantasies of any sorts, narratives you created,
Yeah.
fights you've come up with in your own mind. I mean, I do that with family all the time.
Yeah. Or that's like the other thing when you like have a fight with somebody and then you revisit it in your mind and you're like, fuck, I should have said that. And then you
Yes.
play that out in your
Yeah.
mind. You're like, how would that have gone? And it's always, that's
The amount of times I've
satisfying.
said to myself about a family member that I'm about to see, and where I go, if they say this, I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, and they never
And
do.
it's
Yeah, you
all
got
the
them
no-
ready and rehearsed,
Yeah.
and it never happens.
Yeah.
Never happens.
The gun doesn't even need to come out. It's not even loaded.
Yeah.
Like, who am I fooling?
Yeah, exactly. Ugh.
These people are all trying to get by. All right.
Anyway.
Shall we get into our submission?
I think we're all ready. Yes, give me 1 second.
Yeah, we're good.
Are we good?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're set. We're
All
chilling.
right. Yes.
All
So
right.
so you did not read the submission. So
I
you're coming in
purposely-
blind.
I purposely avoided it. I
like it.
I covered it with my hand.
Love that. Okay. Hi guys, I'm 32, female, and I don't know how to handle my drunk friend who is male, same age. I know this sounds like a joke, but I truly love this person. We've been friends for years, have not hooked up, and I do not want to lose the friendship. He gets so sloppy and overly affectionate with people when he's fucked up that some of my friends are literally avoiding activities if they know he'll be there. And really, he's not a creep when I say affectionate, but it just gets intense. I guess that's the word. It feels like the night will go from being fun to being not fun very quickly because all of a sudden you're in a deep convo with someone when you're both fucked up. And it's fun to get fucked up together prior to that, so I don't want to just stop hanging out in that capacity. I know the answer is going to be have a conversation, so I sort of tried that, but he just said that he'll be better about it moving forward, and guess what? Went right back to the same thing. I said, hey, we talked about this, and he was like, right, and then just went to bug one of my other friends, lol. Like, literally, how do you tell someone that they become annoying when they're drunk? They also have so little control over themselves. Is it even possible to change this? I really, really feel stuck, and I'm curious if either of you have ever had to deal with this problem and how you did it. Do I suck for not accepting him for who he is, or does he suck for lacking complete self-awareness?
So before we begin,
Okay.
let us talk about our drinking
yeah.
styles,
Oh, duh.
what we get ourselves into, who we are in terms of alcohol, and our relationship to it.
I knew this conversation was coming at some point.
Yeah,
for
and,
me. I didn't
Max,
think this was going to be it, but
Let's open up the door. Everybody come out.
yeah, there it is. Oh, mom.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, well, you want to kick it off?
I
in terms-
mean-
what's your drinking styles and habits and whatnots?
Well, when I was younger, I used to be able to drink. I mean,
Sure,
I'm
sure.
older now, and I have zero tolerance
Of
for
course.
drinking. I have like 2 drinks, and I'm tipsy.
You're
Like,
toasted, yeah, yeah.
I'm not like wasted, but
Sure.
like it takes not much to get me drunk anymore.
Okay.
I also like used to really enjoy getting like super fucked up. There was something about it, whatever it may be when you're younger, I guess it's like escapism probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I just enjoyed getting fucked up, talking to strangers, all that shit. Then I got older and I got weirder and I got more comfortable with myself and I was like, eh. So I just kind of like stopped that, I guess. So it's like if I'm going out and I'm drinking, I'm having a few and then I'm going home. Like
Yeah.
I don't And I've never been like the sloppy type. And if I have, it's like, it was only a few times in my life and I barely remember it.
Sure.
And
brag.
yeah.
We're not
Yeah,
all
bro,
perfect.
thank you for calling it out. Because if I did, I just seem like an asshole. But it's about time the guest said something.
I'm sorry.
No, we're
I just
teasing.
honestly,
Yeah.
it's that I hate being hungover always. I mean, who loves it? But like,
course.
I hate throwing up. So like, even when I was younger, I would just do everything I could to avoid that. So I think that's why I tried to avoid getting blackout as much as humanly possible.
Sure.
Because I would have friends who would be like, "Hang on, guys, I have to puke." Okay, I'm good. Like, I sound like I'm being axe murdered when I throw up. Like, I sound like it's horrible. So I do everything I can to avoid that. But yeah, like, I don't think I was ever really an annoying drunk. I think I can be an angry drunk.
Okay.
I definitely think my anger gets increased when I'm drinking. So
Sure.
if somebody starts a fight with me when I'm drunk, you do not want to start that fight.
I was a lousy drunk growing up.
Yeah.
Took several years to kind of get it under control. So now I have a rule where I only drink when I'm on vacation.
Wow.
And that only
Out of the country.
Out of the country, though.
You need to
Okay.
complete the
Yeah.
douchey
Yeah.
statement.
That's a real rule?
That's the real rule.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'll smoke cigarettes and drink when I'm on vacation outside of America.
Okay. So like you're Italy's problem when you're over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Portugal. I like to go to a country and act like I'm never coming back.
Yeah.
Because part of the times I'm banned.
Yeah.
No, so
you give like the U.S. Customs. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to. You like when you call your bank to be like, hey, I'm going abroad. Like
Yeah.
just in case you you call customs. You're like, you might have to get me.
Yeah.
You might have to make a
I
trade.
have to do something. Just
here's
let you know.
here's my Apple.
Yeah.
What's it called? ID. I need you to locate me.
Oh, the air tag.
The
You
air
would
tag.
give an
I'm
air
gonna. You need to. This is the other half of the air tag. So it's like no,
Yeah.
but now I just when I do drink in other countries, obviously I'm on vacation and I gotta do stuff the next day.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be like trashed, but I am drinking and I'm taking it in and I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Right.
But it's a good control level of drinking because I think when I was younger, someone told me, an ex-girlfriend, but at the time we were dating, she said, when you drink, you're a problem.
Yeah.
And that really kind of.
Was she the only person who ever told you that?
No, there were other people that
Okay.
did, but she was like, the reason you drink is because there's something that is so messed up within you
Yeah.
that you need to drink to forget it. And when you are drunk, you're such a problem to other people because you've refused to deal with your own issues. And I'm going to tell you right now.
It's a heavy.
I'm going to tell you right now.
That's a big.
Yeah, that's a big
And
statement.
you were like, wait, what the?
Yeah, you're like, what?
What? Who are you?
this bitch.
Yeah, I got one eye closed because I'm so hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, and you know what it felt like? It felt like getting hit with a pillow when you didn't even think this was part of the day.
And
Yeah.
the pillow was filled with hammers.
Yeah,
I mean,
a full-on bag of hammers. And shout outs to Khalees because
Yeah.
she is great
Nice.
for telling me as such.
Okay.
So that's where my history is. What about you?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at this point in my life, I feel like I've always been, if I drink, I like to go to a local and have like 3 Pilsners and chat with a bartender and watch, like that's sport, like, watch sports. That's
Yeah.
kind of where I am now, which is pretty
Right.
low key. But even if I go out with my friends, I can handle myself, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and if I'm super fucked up, the most I'm going to get is kind of giggly and make jokes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So,
So-
you're not a crier. You're not an angry drunk.
No,
none
I've
of that.
never gotten like angry, which
Interesting.
is good. I
Yeah.
don't think I don't know. I like to I like to think at some point like I have some self-awareness.
Yeah.
And luckily that doesn't fully go away when I'm
Right.
drinking, which I think.
Being
Yeah.
a good drunk to me is an amazing thing.
But I think being a good drunk, you have to have that self-awareness. And I think
Yes.
that's the difference. Because, like, I was, like, talking to this guy, and he was, like, really, really drunk one day and wanted to meet up. And I think I told you about this. And I was like, I want to see how he is when he's drunk. Because, like, I don't want to babysit people. Like,
Yeah.
if he's a bad drunk, like, that's an immediate deal breaker for me. I
Right.
don't like that, especially at my age. So it's, like, our age.
Yeah.
And, like, so there's that. But if you don't have that self-awareness, or if it's really escapism to the point where you're just like a different person, I feel like that's something, like she said, you can't control almost, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, all
yeah.
right, so what are your initial thoughts
Well,
on this person?
Okay, so I mean, in this situation, she's asking if we ever like actually dealt with it. So I do have friends that are like this.
I think everyone does. Yeah.
I think we all do.
I
And,
was
like,
this friend.
Yeah,
I was
think-
this problem.
But the problem is, I've never said anything because it's awkward as fuck. Like, I'm not saying we're not gonna have some solutions.
Yeah.
Hopefully we will.
Right.
But like, and I do think she's right that it probably comes down to a conversation. But like for me, that friend is somebody that you take in small doses because of how that is. Like, I mean, if you don't want to lose the friendship, I think you just got to do it in small doses. If you're not willing to have a conversation again, and in this case, maybe an intervention.
You got any messy friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we all do.
Everyone. And what's good about this email is that like this person doesn't sound like they're a real problem.
Sure,
Right.
There
sure.
could be
They're just,
so
like,
much
annoying.
worse.
Yeah.
But they hit the nail on the head of being like a little too annoying and like a one-sided
Clingy
conversation.
almost. Yeah.
And that is not a fun night if you're on like the receiving end of that.
Exactly.
yes.
It's an energy suck. It's like
Yeah.
an energy vampire
Too
situation.
lovey is too much.
It's
Yeah.
because after a while you're kind of like it gets uncomfortable and you're like, what am I supposed to say to this? Like, how much can I really give back here, or like
Yeah.
whatever? It just feels uncomfortable after a while.
Different kinds of drunks, I think it might warrant to walk away in some situations. I knew a guy that would get hammered and then he would drive his car a lot.
Well, that's insane.
And I was like,
that's
and I was in
dangerous.
this city, and I was like, dude, I can't do this.
Yeah, no, that's dangerous.
Yeah, that's
Like,
just dangerous
that's-
behavior.
Yeah.
And then also, but like,
Wait, where was it? In New York?
yeah, it's in Brooklyn.
Oh,
baby. He's out here.
crazy.
Yeah,
What
don't worry
harm
about
is he
it.
doing? You know,
Yeah.
like, rolls through a stop sign. It's
I
fine.
mean, yeah, but then he rolls over a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
people in the
no.
city.
Actually, let the record show I don't support drunk driving. I just
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
maybe
we
just
don't-
clear.
Yeah.
It's so, but yeah, like that is affecting like
Max
other
St.
people's
John,
lives.
no longer a member of MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Yeah, so it's just
Throwback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to. I think that in that situation, I just didn't want to have anything to do with this person because I was like, this person, they didn't want to hear
That's
anything
different.
anyway.
Yeah.
But I think this situation, I think, can be salvaged.
I think though in this case it might be an intervention situation because remember
Hmm.
she said to the guy, we talked about this, and he went, oh, right, you're right, but then he just went and bothered somebody else.
Yeah.
So like I think this might have to be where you get the other friends involved to say something, because otherwise it doesn't sound like he will be course correcting. I don't know.
I think
don't
that
know.
if you care about somebody,
Yeah.
you're willing to have awkward conversations.
I mean, yeah, I guess so, but it is really tough.
What
to
other?
do.
It is a tough thing to do, but because you love them, that's why. Like the girl that I was with, when she said that to me, I'm sure that wasn't easy. I'm sure it wasn't. It was for her to take and she also took the keys out of my hand. Out of my car keys out of my hand.
Yeah.
And she drove my car back, and she drove me back, and then she had to walk back to where we were originally because that's where her train was to go back to Jersey.
I mean, I don't know. I do think there's a level of like, what's the word I'm looking for, with a relationship that like the walls come down a little bit more. It's a little less uncomfortable to call somebody out on their bullshit when you're dating them.
Oh yeah,
versus a
yeah.
friend.
When you're seeing them naked,
know what I mean?
sure, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But when you're with, and when it's a friend, then you really have to sit there and evaluate. How close are we?
Yeah.
Am I willing to lose this friendship for the sake of the argument?
Yeah.
And?
Also, she said something in the email too, or submission, whatever, that it was like, I've known this person for years. So it's interesting. Has something changed? I would wonder, like, was this person always like this?
What's
You
tough
know?
is that I think in my non-medical experience,
Yeah.
or like non-professional disclaimer.
We're all in the same boat here.
yeah.
Don't worry.
In my experience,
Wait, you're not a doctor, Max St. John? Yeah. Dr. St. John?
Yeah.
If ever a
Anyway.
porn name, this is really Dr. Max St. John.
Yeah. I find that like drunk personalities are pretty set in stone.
Right.
At least in
interesting.
my
Really?
experience.
Okay. You're
Like I have a friend, or I don't know, a couple friends who get very chatty and talkative, and probably sound like the person they're talking about in this submission.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine them ever changing that.
That's a very good point,
if they're really
actually.
drunk.
You think that they
Yeah.
can't ever evolve in terms of like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, and maybe it's a
very good
mature
point,
thing,
actually.
and maybe my friends are immature.
yeah.
I'm actually trying to think though now. I'm like, the people that I know that were problem drunks, actually most of them stopped drinking, because I don't think that's what she
Yeah.
even said. Like,
Yeah.
is this even something you can change about a
So
person? And
that's
maybe
a
it's
solution,
not.
but I think it would be very hard to be like,
Sure.
I'm going to stop drinking, and then I'm going to slowly work my way back. I think eventually you're going to get back. Like, if that's a drunk
Right.
personality, that's what it is.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to disagree with both of you here because
Wow,
as
okay.
somebody who was a problem drinker,
But you don't let yourself get to that point anymore.
No, I mean
and
when
you
I'm,
don't drink.
But it's like I'll drink. I mean, I've had like 5 or 6 back to back in Portugal, and I was pretty drunk, but I wasn't angry or frustrated. And I think that the thing is this though, I don't advocate anyone to do the thing that I do because
Yeah.
it's too. I think it could.
I think
be
that's too it's
complicated,
risky
too risky,
sometimes,
and I would
yeah.
never advise that. But there was something that like this guy had said to me when I told him I stopped drinking years ago. I was like, he goes, you know, the thing is, you might just quit and never drink again, or you might find your way back to it where you can finally be the kind of person that you really, you know, that you want to be, that's actually good. And he goes, and I'm not telling you to do one or the other, but I think that some people find it that way. And it was and I couldn't even process that information now, but I'm sitting here thinking about that statement that he'd said to me years ago. This is like 10 years ago. And I'm going, wait a minute, this dude was right the entire time. I think that some people can evolve.
I think it's a mindset shift that also probably happened in you because you stopped drinking.
Yeah, no,
like,
of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it was like just. Yeah,
I think that
that's why.
but to say that it can't happen is what I mean.
No, you're right. That's a much more mature.
I understand, but I do agree with you though. Also, that most of the time, I think your drunk personality is your drunk personality.
Sure.
Like, it's like I'm saying, even me to this day,
Most of the time, right.
if I do get drunk, and like I said, I'm not somebody who starts shit proactively, but if
But
like,
you finish it?
you know, listen, you know how I do.
Look at this goon right
Did you
here.
say not somebody who usually starts shit proactively? Because that usually is a heavy.
Yeah,
No,
it sounds like
like-
you're starting shit pro.
I do not. I swear.
Subactively.
I swear I do not. I do not. But if like somebody was starting something with me, then I will be way more feisty if I'm drunk. Whereas if I'm sober, I'll just not engage as much. But
She's
like,
sharpening a knife, but she ain't talking shit.
Yeah.
You know what
Say
I mean?
it.
Yeah.
Say it.
Just say it.
Go ahead.
I know you got something to say.
I'm not going to be proactive about
did
it.
I
Yeah.
ever tell you about? Wait, did I ever tell you about sunscreen, Dara? Did I ever tell you about this?
I don't know if you ever shared this on the podcast.
I don't think I did, but
Yeah.
this is maybe a good time to do that.
Go for it.
Okay, so here's a good example. So I was here with a couple of my friends, and we were fucked up. And one of my guy friends was out on the balcony, and he had a coconut. And he asked me, he opens the balcony door, and he asks me for a hammer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you need a hammer for? And he was just like, forget it. And I was like, okay. And then he comes back in with this attitude, and he's like, why you have to give me such attitude? I just asked for a hammer. I'm like, you're in my fucking house. I want to know what you need a fucking hammer for.
Fair question.
Thank you. Yeah. And then basically he starts coming at me, and there was a bottle of sunscreen next to me, and I start throwing it back and forth between my hands as I'm talking to him. And all my friends were sitting around the table right here, and they all just got up like very slowly and moved away because they thought that I was gonna like hit him with the bottle. And I was like, no, I just wanted something to do with my hands.
That's
like
fair.
it was not even a thing in my mind. I'm not violent like that. But they all thought so. Now every time I would get really angry when I'm drunk, they call me Sunscreen Dara.
Let's just move all these things.
Yeah,
slightly
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Let's
That
just
could be a self-conscious or like a
things out the way.
subconscious.
Yeah.
I think it's like
You're like,
absolute.
oh, I wasn't gonna do anything,
I
and your body's
literally-
like, get something in your hands.
Literally, I think that's what it is.
No,
because
I think it was a self-soothing tactic.
Absolutely, because I didn't even remember doing that.
Right,
and they
because
told me
you
that
get
I did.
so like we all
Yeah.
get, it's sort of like one time I remember being in an argument with somebody and there was a cup of water, I just kept taking sips.
Yeah, because
And I
it's like a mind, like what is it, like cigarettes almost?
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
same thing. Like
you need
want
this sort of thing to kind of alleviate
calm
this
you
stress.
down. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So anyway, whatever.
You
Don't
ever
know how
hit
we got on
somebody?
that. but-
Not recent. No,
Not recently.
no. But I don't. Maybe for this person,
Yeah.
maybe a good fun activity is the person who submitted finds another friend who has the same energy and pairs them together when they're both drunk, and take that dual.
That's interesting. Lovey-dovey, like
Yeah.
over. Ooh,
I want to
interesting.
say not aggressive, but just like conversationally aggressive. If you-
I'm going to say right now, Max, did you just come up with an amazing app?
yeah.
This is an incredible dating app for drunks or like people with like, when they're on cocaine.
Problematic people put them together.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
that's
When
great.
Steve is on cocaine, he talks about aliens way too much. And like, I got a friend who does that too.
Yeah.
And you pair them together,
That's
and
a
now
great
it's a part.
idea.
You have like a party and have multiple groups of your friends, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, here's Chris and Mike both get like that when they're drunk.
Yeah.
Let's just introduce them,
Interesting.
Right.
And they're like, going to be starting their business over there.
Yes.
like,
Yeah,
at-
yeah.
at
So
full
funny.
speed,
You
and
look
then
at-
everyone else can enjoy themselves.
I like
Yes.
that. I like this idea.
is a phenomenal solution.
The person who submitted, write this down because I
Yeah.
think that might be your solution. But also, if you don't have another friend who's like this, then you're screwed.
Get one.
Put the word out.
But
Put the word out. You look
Yes.
over, Chris and Mike are fucking each other. I'm like, turns out that's really
Hey,
what it was the
that
entire
is
time.
what they wanted.
Okay,
They were
all
just
right.
horny.
Yeah, all right, fair
Fair
enough.
enough.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I like that idea though.
Yeah,
actually.
I think that's a genius idea.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, but if it's not that, I think the other answer is probably what, intervention.
I think
with the friends.
I think it might be
like multiple people.
I would say keep it small. I'd say a 2-person.
Okay.
A 2-person thing
I was
should be
thinking
enough.
3 in my head.
3?
I don't know.
All right, fair enough. We could split the
odd
difference.
numbers.
2.5 people?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Yeah. Friend interventions are tough. That's a tough thing. So, I don't know. I just
You got to
feel like
find 2 friends, 3 friends
Yeah.
who give a shit about you
That's
like that.
true.
That
and
is
are, and
tough.
are also comfortable with having that kind of a conversation, which is
Yes.
awkward as hell,
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely.
Also,
Yeah.
at this point in my life, I feel like I see a lot of my friends once like a month.
Exactly.
So, am I going to take that once a month thing to
Right.
ruin their night?
No.
That's
no,
that's
no, no,
that's
no.
I don't
the
know.
other
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, no.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
we're busy people. We got stuff to do. This
Yeah.
person's not. This
Well,
person.
they're 32. I mean, that's not that, that's young, but it's not like so young. But maybe they're still getting fucked up regularly.
This is
It sounds
the
like
thing,
I don't know.
though, that you got to keep into considerations. You don't have to accept these people for who they are. You know
I
what I mean?
guess.
You don't. Like, you really. That's the.
But that's like it's like liking somebody when they're sober and like accepting them for who they are. Shouldn't that include, I guess, like the drunk element?
Yeah, if
I
you don't
guess.
want to, you don't have to.
That's true.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
why do you have to make negotiations in your life, or like, why do you have to make, you have to settle in some which way? Like, okay, this person is a weird, so then just see them strictly in the day.
Yeah.
See them strictly where alcohol's not involved. I used to hang out with this buddy. He had a nervous tick that he would like make that noise.
Oh yeah.
I can never see a movie with that guy.
Yeah.
I
think
made
you
that
told me that
mistake
before.
once, and I was in a movie theater with him, and I never thought about that tick.
Yeah.
And then we're in the movie, and he's just going.
Oh my god. That
And
would
at
drive
one
me
point,
nuts.
there was like this woman, this black woman from like 3 rows away, going, "Who's making that clicking noise?"
You're like, that's my buddy Daryl right there.
Yeah, I was
Oh
like,
my
"That's
God,
Leo."
no.
By the way, he is a black belt in Taekwondo. So if you want to fight him, go for it. But it's not going to end well. But click away, my good man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's true that you do have certain friends like that you do certain activities with, and the other way around, like
Yeah.
you keep them out of certain things. I
Yeah,
guess you
because
could say.
if you have a friend
Yeah.
who's hyper competitive, don't go axe throwing with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. You have
Yeah.
to find, if you're not willing to get rid of them, put them in a place that makes the most sense.
And some people, though, some of those friendships, like I do have in my, because they're like, have you ever dealt with this? I have friends, though, that I just got fucked up with. And they just kind of fell like to the wayside as I've gotten older, and I just don't really do that anymore.
Right.
So it's like that could be a solution. But if you don't want to lose the friendship, then you're just going to have to, I think, work on it.
You're
more.
going to have to, unfortunately,
Yeah.
buck up and have this
Yeah.
conversation again and be
I
like,
think so,
listen,
too.
you're kind of, if not an intervention, then a stern conversation.
Yeah,
Where you
yeah.
sit them down and be like, hey, man, you ruining the good times. Yeah. With too many good times.
Do you think you can bring that up in a joking way and be like,
That's the thing. I don't know if you can.
because I feel like maybe the person who wrote in
Yeah.
kind of said that. They're like, we kind of talked about it.
Right.
And it didn't stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it might have been, you didn't come in with the hammers.
That's
You gotta
probably
come in
what
with
it
the
was.
hammers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That really does suck.
Yeah.
And I wonder, does this person kind of suck for not having to have the chutzpah to have this conversation with this person that they care
Nah,
about?
I think it's uncomfortable as hell.
Okay.
Especially if the person is like a good person in your life and a good friend otherwise. Like
Yeah.
it makes you feel like you're being unnecessarily harsh or judgmental. You know? I feel like that's how I would take that. So I don't
Okay,
know.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Should we
Yeah.
come down to should we get down to judgment?
I think we can.
I think we
I think
can.
we covered everything.
Fair enough. All right. Okay, sure. We'll go first, and then Max,
Oh, you get the gavel.
you get the gavel. You get final judgment.
and you
Oh,
get to
and what am I? What are we
get
judging the
banked.
solution?
Yeah, it's like whether
Oh,
who
okay.
sucks, whether he sucks, the
I got
writer
both.
sucks, or
Yeah.
they both suck.
Okay, love it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like he sucks in this situation because it sounds like she did try to talk to him. Maybe she didn't try hard enough, but I think that she did try and he didn't really take it seriously and or just tried to divert and bring it onto other people. So with the information that we have, the limited information we do have, it sounds like I think this guy sucks. I mean, he needs to just be a little bit more self-aware probably, or I don't know. To me, I'm just sticking with a he sucks on this one.
I think that I was gonna say that he sucks as well, but I'm gonna have to go with I don't think either of them suck.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah.
I was on the fence.
I think that people having a lack of self-awareness is just where they are in life, and that
Yeah.
really is an unfortunate circumstance. And it's kind of like it really blows because you want this person to be better about this situation. And like, can we hold her to task? Yeah, I guess we could, but then that's not her responsibility. It's not her job.
Yeah.
And it just sucks having to sit there and deal with these messy conversations with friends who are too much of a lousy drunk. And like, man, we could only be so lucky in my case to have someone in our lives to sit us down and talk to us and be like, yo, you suck at this thing. You need to stop because you're ruining your life and the people's lives around you. And that's why you need to cut this shit out. So I was fortunate, and I don't think that this person has that, and I don't think we should blame them for it. But at the same time, it's like, you want to cut them off. But I don't think that this person sucks. I think they just don't know any better.
Okay.
Yeah. As you were explaining the rules, I was going to ask, is there an option for neither?
Yeah.
If there had to be an answer, if one of them had to suck, I guess he would have to suck. But I agree. I don't think either of them suck, especially because I've experienced these people. And if their biggest issue is maybe being a little too conversationalist or maybe, I don't know, a little annoying, there are so many worse things you could.
True.
And maybe that's not justification for it being all good to go. But yeah, I don't know. If their drunk personality is talking a little too much, that's at the same time, that could be a fun person at a party to have too. You know, they're very social and they're making new friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that person sucks for that.
Okay.
And maybe it's something they could work on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would probably neither as well.
All right, so bang that gavel, my man.
Is that I think
there we
it's
go. Yeah.
neither.
There
Yay.
we go.
Yeah, we've said nobody sucks in the situation a few times. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens occasionally. And I was thinking about that as well. I was going to say that, but then I was like, being that she did try, that's the only reason but either way, I agree.
All right. Well,
job.
Max St. John, you goddamn content creating, bird watching, addiction app, problematic personality development specialist in the works. What do you got to push or promote?
Yes.
Oh man, I'm just right now just hoping to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep making new fun videos online. I'm doing some more live stuff. I just did a live bird watching, kind of like a comedy bird watching tour.
Okay.
I want to try to experiment a little more with that, see if that's something to do, as well as some more like live stuff this summer as far as like stand up.
And where can people find you? Because I don't even think I told them your handle.
Yeah, I am on Instagram, Max the Very Good Boy. Feel free to give a follow, give a shout.
I love that handle. I meant to ask actually where that came from because it sounds like a dog situation.
It does. Every day I do regret it.
No, I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's cute.
Stupid.
I think it's
great.
cute.
It's really,
it's
really
solid. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I made it as like it was my personal account before I started doing anything like publicly.
Right.
And it was like kind of a inside joke with a couple of my friends, like that we call each other like good pal and good boy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's what I made it. And then I started putting stuff out and I was like, well, it's kind of too late to change it now. So
No,
I'm stuck with it.
Fair enough.
I like it. I think it's good. It
Beautiful.
Works. Yeah.
And I blame the person who had my actual like at Max St. John had stolen the account. Not stolen, but like had created the account in like 2013 and never posted anything.
Of course.
I had that too for a while.
What do I do with this?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I went to the next closest thing.
Yes, Max, a very good boy.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
we
right
love it.
there.
Well, thank you for being here. This was so much fun.
Thank you for having me.
It was great to meet you in person. And for us, you can find us at You Both Suck Podcast across all the platforms. You can submit your squabbles to us with the link in our bio on Instagram. And I am at Dara Pollock.
I'm at All Day KCA.
And we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Okay, bye.